You don't need to prepare yourself for this moment. Nothing needs to be set aside. Nothing needs to be held together. If your body is a little tense, if your mind is already ahead of you, that's okay. You don't have to arrive anywhere else. Just notice that you're here. The sound you're hearing is already happening without effort. Your breathing is already happening without effort. And for these few minutes, you don't need to manage yourself. You can let this moment hold you instead of the other way around. There's a quiet relief that comes when nothing is being asked of you. Not improvement, not clarity, not understanding, just this. So often, there's a feeling that you should be doing better by now, that you should feel calmer, more settled, more put together. And even when life looks fine on the outside, there can be a subtle tension inside, like something is always being carried, not urgently, not loudly, just constantly. You might notice it in your shoulders or your jaw or your breath. This isn't a problem. It's a sign of how long you've been adapting, of how often you learn to stay ready, to stay alert, to stay just a little braced. And there's nothing wrong with that. It made sense. It helped you move through something. It helped you function. But what's different now is that you don't need to in this moment. You're allowed to notice that you're still here. Even when you soften a little, nothing falls apart. Life doesn't stop. The water keeps moving. The air keeps moving. And you're still here. There's something reassuring about that you can loosen your grip even slightly and nothing bad happens. You don't disappear. You don't lose control. You simply feel a little more supported by what's already here. Many of us learn that rest is something you earn, something that comes after everything is handled, after everything is resolved. But rest doesn't actually work that way. Rest happens when you stop postponing yourself, when you stop waiting to be finished. You don't have to be finished to rest. You don't have to be certain. You don't have to be healed. You can rest inside uncertainty. You can rest while things are unresolved. That isn't giving up. It's letting life carry itself for a few moments. Notice how the sounds around you don't need your attention to continue. They don't wait for permission. They don't need explanation. They simply happen. And in the same way, your being doesn't require supervision. It already knows how to breathe. It already knows how to listen. It already knows how to be here. Even when thoughts are busy, even when emotions move quietly underneath, you don't need to push any of that away. You can let it all be included. There's a difference between effort and presence. Effort feels like holding. Presence feels like allowing And right now, you're not being asked to effort. You're being invited to allow, to let this moment be exactly as wide as it already is. If your attention drifts, that's okay. If thoughts come and go, that's okay. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to stop them. They can move like ripples on the surface, while something underneath remains steady. There is a steadiness here that doesn't depend on what you're thinking. It doesn't depend on how calm you feel. It's already present. Sometimes we mistake stillness for emptiness, but stillness isn't empty. It's full of quiet support, full of space. You don't need to access it. You're already inside it. Notice that even as you listen, you're not doing anything special. You're just here, and that's enough. There's kindness in letting yourself be ordinary in this way. Not elevated, not improved. Just human. Just present. The body responds to this kind of permission. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but subtly. A softening you didn't plan, a release you didn't ask for. You don't need to look for it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Nothing is required. There may be parts of you that are used to staying vigilant, parts that learn to stay alert because it once mattered. You don't need to silence those parts. You can let them know they don't have to work so hard right now. They're not being pushed away. They're being thanked and gently invited to rest. You don't have to hold yourself together for this moment. To continue, you don't have to be ready. You're already allowed to be here. Sometimes the deepest relief is realizing that nothing is chasing you. Nothing is about to happen that you need to brace for. This moment isn't a test. It's just life moving quietly when nothing is demanded. A natural openness appears, not forced, not focused, just available. That openness doesn't need direction. It doesn't need to land anywhere. It's enough to let it be. There is wisdom in letting yourself be held by what's here. Moment doesn't rush you. It doesn't ask when you'll be done resting. It doesn't keep score. It simply continues making room for you as you are. You belong here without explanation, without performance, without needing to be different. If you feel drawn to stay here a little longer, feel ready to move on at some point, that's fine too. There is no right way to receive this moment. Just let it be what it is. You don't have to hold yourself together to be part of life. You can soften and still belong. You can rest and still exist. And nothing essential is lost When you stop trying so hard, you are already enough for this moment to continue, and nothing more is needed right now.